My name is Marco. And I'm from Brazil. 5 months ago. I moved to Canada with my family. Everything was new. The buildings. The food. And the people all looked different. But the biggest challenge was the language. I didn't speak English well. I only knew a few words like hello and thank you. On my first day at school, I felt nervous and scared. I didn't understand what the teacher was saying. My classmates were kind, but I couldn't talk to them. I felt alone. At lunch, I sat by myself. I missed my friends in Brazil. I wanted to go back home. That evening, I told my parents I was worried. My father said, "Don't worry, Marco. You will learn. You just need time. Practice. And patience." I didn't believe him then. But I wanted to try. I made a decision that night. I would learn English no matter what. I knew it would be hard. But I was ready to work. I wanted to speak. Understand. And make friends again. That was the beginning of my journey. After my first day at school, I knew I needed a plan. I didn't want to feel lost every day. I decided to start small. My first goal was to learn 5 new English words each day. I wrote the words in a notebook and practiced saying them out loud. Words like school, friend, learn, book, and smile. I said them over and over. My teacher also gave me a simple English book with pictures. It was for children. But it helped me a lot. I read 1 page every night. I didn't understand everything. But I looked at the pictures and guessed the meaning of the words. I also watched cartoons in English with subtitles. The characters spoke slowly, and I could hear and read the words at the same time. Each time I learned a new word, I felt proud. I started saying hi to classmates. Some smiled and said hi back. It was a small step, but it felt like a big win. My plan was working. Every little thing helped. I realized that learning a language was like building a house. One brick at a time. At first, I was afraid to speak English. I didn't want to make mistakes. I thought people would laugh at me. But one day, something changed. In math class, the teacher asked a question. I knew the answer, but I stayed quiet. Then I saw another student speak with bad grammar. The teacher smiled and said, "Good job for trying." That moment helped me understand something important. It's okay to make mistakes. The goal is to try and improve. So, I started speaking English every day. Even if it wasn't perfect. I asked questions like, "Where is the bathroom?" And, "What is your name?" I spoke to my classmates during lunch. Even if I only used simple words. One day, a girl named Sarah said, "You speak better now." That made me happy. I realized that speaking is the best way to learn. It's like swimming. You can't learn by watching. You must jump in the water. I stopped being afraid. Every sentence was practice. Every mistake was a lesson. I was building confidence. One word at a time. Listening became my secret tool. I listened to English every day. On the bus. I played English songs with easy lyrics. At home, I listened to podcasts for beginners. I didn't understand everything, but I kept listening. One day, I heard the same word many times. Happy. I searched for it and learned what it meant. Then I heard it again in a song. That made me feel excited. I was learning without a book. At school, I listened closely to my teachers and classmates. Sometimes, I repeated the words quietly after them to practice pronunciation. I also used a small notebook to write down words I didn't understand. Later, I looked them up with Google Translate or asked my teacher. The more I listened, the more I understood. Sentences that once sounded like noise now made sense. I even started dreaming in English. Listening helped me think in English. I was not just translating in my head. I was understanding more and more every day. It was like opening a door to a new world. And that world was becoming more familiar and friendly. One day at lunch, I sat near a boy named Tom. He noticed I was reading an English comic book. He smiled and said, "I like that one too." I was surprised and happy. I said, "It is funny." He laughed and asked, "Do you want to read it together?" We started talking every lunch. At first, I didn't understand everything Tom said. But he spoke slowly and used simple words. He was patient and kind. He even taught me how to say new words and corrected my mistakes gently. Tom became my first real friend in Canada. He helped me with homework, explained new vocabulary, and introduced me to other classmates. I started joining group activities because I felt more confident with Tom by my side. One day, our teacher asked us to do a class presentation. I was nervous. But Tom said, "You can do it, Marco." I smiled and said, "Okay. I try." That friendship changed everything. I wasn't alone anymore. I had someone to talk to, laugh with, and learn from. Speaking English became more natural. And it all started with a comic book and a smile. I discovered that small goals made a big difference. Instead of trying to speak perfect English, I focused on one goal each week. One week, I practiced introducing myself. "Hi. My name is Marco. I'm from Brazil. I like soccer." I said it many times until it felt natural. The next week, I practiced asking simple questions. "What's your favorite food? Do you have a pet?" I asked my classmates during breaks. They answered with smiles. I learned new words from their answers. I also started using sticky notes. I labeled objects in my room with their English names. Door, window, mirror. Bed. Every day. I saw those words and remembered them. At school. I made a checklist of daily goals. Say hello to 3 people. Learn 5 new words. Ask 1 question. When I completed the list, I felt proud. These small goals gave me focus. I didn't feel lost anymore. I had a plan and a reason to keep going. Each little win gave me hope. I learned that big success is made of small steps. And I was moving forward. Step by step. One day in English class, the teacher asked us to describe our weekend. I stood up and said, "I cooked my homework." The whole class laughed. My face turned red. I meant to say, "I cooked dinner and did my homework." But I mixed the words. I wanted to sit down and disappear. But the teacher smiled and said, "That was funny, Marco. Don't worry. Mistakes are how we learn." She gently corrected me. Everyone clapped. And I smiled. After class, my friend Tom said, "You're doing great. You're brave to speak." That made me feel better. I realized that even native speakers make mistakes sometimes. One day, my cousin showed me some YouTube channels. They had stories in English for beginners. I started watching one story every evening. I listened carefully. Repeated the sentences. And paused to look up new words. The stories were fun. And each one taught me something about life and English. I subscribed to these YouTube channels. The stories helped me learn pronunciation, grammar, and new expressions. I felt like the characters in the stories were speaking directly to me. One evening, I said to my mom, "I will speak only English at dinner." She smiled and said, "Okay. Let's try." At first, it was hard. I had to think a lot. I said things like, "Pasta. Salt. Please. My mom helped me find the right words. My dad joined too. And we all laughed when I said silly things. We made it a daily habit. Every dinner, we spoke in English for 10 minutes. Then 15 minutes. Soon, it became natural. My little sister even started learning words like rice, water, and thank you. Speaking at home gave me more practice and confidence. I could try new phrases in a safe space. When I made mistakes, my parents helped me fix them kindly. I realized that learning English didn't only happen in school. It happened at home. On the bus. Online. Everywhere. The more I practiced, the more I improved. My family supported me, and that made me feel strong. Learning together made it fun. I was not just learning English for school. I was learning it for life. One morning, my teacher gave me a task. Marco, can you call the library and ask if your book is ready? I was nervous. I had never spoken English on the phone before. No facial expressions. No body language. Just words. I took a deep breath and dialed. Hello? I said. My name is Marco. I'm calling about a book I ordered. My voice shook a little. The librarian said. Sure. What's the title? I froze. I had practiced the sentence. But not that question. I replied slowly. The name is English for Beginners, she said. Yes. It's ready for you. I smiled and said, Thank you very much. Then I hung up and ran to my teacher. I did it, I said. She gave me a high five. That small phone call felt like a big win. I realized I could use English in real life. Not just in class, but in real conversations. Later that day, I wrote about the moment in my journal. It reminded me that progress isn't always loud or big. Sometimes. It's a quiet phone call. But to me, it meant everything. It was a Saturday afternoon when I saw a lost tourist in our neighborhood. He looked confused, holding a map and his phone. I walked over and said, "Do you need help?" He looked relieved. "Yes. I'm trying to find the museum." I smiled and said, "Go straight. Then turn left at the big church. It's near the fountain," he said. "Thank you. Your English is very good." That compliment stayed with me all day. I told my parents at dinner. Today, I helped someone in English. They clapped for me. My dad said, "You're becoming a global citizen." That moment proved that my hard work was paying off. It felt great to use English not just in class, but in the real world. To help someone. To connect. To make someone smile. I realized that English is not just a subject. It's a bridge. A bridge between people. Cultures. And hearts. That small act of kindness showed me just how powerful language can be. From that day on, I looked for more chances to speak. Help. And connect. English had become a part of who I was becoming. In school, our teacher gave us an assignment. Prepare a short English presentation about our favorite hobby. I chose football. It was something I loved. So I thought it would be easier to talk about. I wrote simple sentences. My favorite hobby is football. I play with my friends every weekend. My favorite team is Barcelona. Then I practiced every night in front of the mirror. I timed myself. I checked my pronunciation using YouTube videos. I even recorded myself and listened to fix my mistakes. The day of the presentation came. I was nervous. But I stood in front of the class and began. My voice was shaky at first. But as I continued, I grew more confident. When I finished, my classmates clapped. And my teacher said, "Well done." Marco. You were clear. And you spoke with confidence. I smiled the whole day. That presentation was more than a school task. It was proof. Proof that I had grown. That I had improved. That I could speak to a group in English. I felt proud and hopeful. It was a small step. But it made a big impact on my confidence. One night, something surprising happened. I had a dream. And in the dream, I was speaking English. I was in a classroom, helping another student. Don't worry, I said in the dream. You can do it. Just keep practicing. When I woke up, I smiled. My brain was using English even while I was asleep. It felt amazing. Like I was really becoming part of the language. That day, I told my teacher. I dreamed in English. She said. That's a big sign. Marco. It means English is becoming natural for you. I started noticing more signs. I thought in English sometimes. I read signs and menus without needing to translate. When someone said something in English, I didn't have to stop and translate in my mind. I just understood. I felt like I had entered a new stage in my journey. English was no longer something outside of me. It was inside me. Living in my thoughts and dreams. That dream gave me a new kind of motivation. It wasn't just about learning anymore. It was about becoming. Becoming someone who could truly use English with confidence and joy. My little sister, Sophia, was only 7. One day, she asked me, Marco, how do you say gato in English? I smiled. It's cat, I said. From that day on, we started learning together. I made her flashcards with pictures. We played games like Guess the Word and English Treasure Hunt around the house. She was quick to learn. Every evening, she would bring her notebook and say, Teach me a new word. It made me feel proud and responsible. Teaching her helped me too. I had to explain things in a simple way. Sometimes I used my own learning methods to help her remember. I became more careful with pronunciation and grammar. One evening, she said, "You're a good English teacher." That melted my heart. Teaching someone else helped me understand just how far I had come. 5 months ago, I was afraid to say, hello. Now, I was guiding someone else. I learned that teaching is a powerful way to grow. When you help someone else shine, your own light becomes brighter too. 5 months had passed since I first said, "I want to learn English." Now, I could have conversations, give presentations, and even dream in English. I was proud. But I knew the journey wasn't over. English was no longer just a goal. It had become a part of my life. I still watch Tales Fluency every week. Still learn new words. And still practice speaking with friends and family. One day, I wrote in my journal, "I didn't just learn English. I learned courage, patience, and self-belief." I looked back and remembered the struggles, the laughter, the mistakes, and the victories. Each part of the journey had taught me something important. Now, I want to help others too. I tell my friends, if I can do it, so can you. Start with one word. One sentence. One video. Just don't give up. And to anyone watching this story, remember, you're not alone. You have the tools. You have the time. And you have Tales Fluency. If this story inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe to Tales Fluency. Let's grow together. Because learning a language is not a destination. It's a beautiful, ongoing adventure.